This is our first day of birding in Cambodia. It took about 30 hours of travel to get here from Michigan to Cambodia. We got in late last night. We didn't get to our hotel until about midnight, and the tour started super early this morning. We left the hotel at 5:30, so we got very little sleep, but we're really excited about the first day of this tour. We're at a spot right outside of Phnom Penh where there should be Cambodian tailorbird, which is an endemic bird species to Cambodia, one of the very few endemic bird species here. And then we're also later in the day going to be looking for the Bengal Florican, which is one of the critically endangered birds for this trip. So one of the main reasons for this trip, for me personally, is because of the number of critically endangered birds that we have a chance to see. And the Bengal Florican will be one of the first ones that we have the opportunity for. But we're going to be traveling all over the country for this trip. We're going to be here for about a week, and we should see a lot of really cool critically endangered birds and also a lot of new birds for me personally. This is my first trip to Asia, and so the vast majority of these birds that we see are going to be lifers for me. Working our way back to the car after the first stop in Cambodia. Successfully got the Cambodian tailorbird, actually pretty common here. Again, that's one of the endemics we really hope to get. So we're off to a really solid start. We're gonna go check out some rice fields next that should also have some really good birds, and another shot Cambodian tailorbird. We're just leaving the rice fields now, where we had really nice looks at spotted owlet, which is our first owl of the trip. And we also got much better looks at the Cambodian tailorbird, which put on a show for us, as well as a few other birds. So we got a bit of a drive ahead of us now, but we're gonna stop for lunch, and then the grasslands where the Bengal Florican is.
They will split into two teams. So one guy, he go to check on that side, and then we are staying here, keep scanning to the field, because bird might be foraging in the harvesting field. Oh, wow, you can see now, you can see it back. Yeah. Go ahead.
We are at the Bengal Florican grasslands, and somehow one of the local guides spotted one way out in the field in the heat haze. We got a good look in the scope, but it's really far away, so we're gonna try to walk out here and get a little closer and see if we can get some photos. This is one of the critically endangered birds that we really wanted to see on this trip. And it's like the middle of the day. It's probably 85-90 degrees, and the birds are still active. So we're gonna see if we can get closer to this bird and get some better looks. We are on day 2 of our Cambodia birding tour with Sam Veasna Conservation, and we left Siem Reap this morning. We're heading north towards a community called Tmatboey, which is famous for the 2 critically endangered ibis that we hope to see this trip, the giant ibis and the white-shouldered ibis. And so that community protects those birds in hopes of getting ecotourism to go there, which is exactly what we're doing. So we left early this morning. We're making a stop right now for breakfast and for some birding along the way. Our next stop will be at Tmatboey, and hopefully later this afternoon we'll get some of those critically endangered ibis that we're looking for. The lodge at Tmatboey, where those critically endangered ibis are, is usually the place you would stay on a tour like this. However, that lodge is being completely rebuilt from the ground up, and our guide said it'll probably be about 5 or 6 months before that's done, so we had to find somewhere else to stay. So we're staying at this resort called Tmatboey Resort, and it's about 30 or 40 minutes from Tmatboey, where we'll be birding for the next 2 days. There are some pros and cons to staying here. Some of the pros are that they have really, really good iced coffee, and that's important when it's super, super hot like it is today. It feels like it's about 90 degrees. The rooms are really nice and spacious. We'll have no problem being comfortable here for the next 2 nights. But also importantly, the grounds are really, really good for birds and butterflies and other wildlife. So we birded here for about 2 hours before lunch this morning, and we added probably about 12 or 13 more birds to our list, many of which were lifers for me, which is great. There's a lot of native plants, there's a lot of trees and flowers. Their butterflies have been incredible here, probably the best place that we've stayed for butterflies so far. And so it's been nice to be able to explore the grounds. Unfortunately though, the community at Tmatboey kind of depends on some of the funding for people staying at the lodge there, and so while their lodge is being rebuilt, they won't have any of the income from people staying at the lodge like they usually would. They'll still be supported from us going there and seeing the birds, seeing the 2 species of ibis and the other birds that are around, and so they'll still have some support from that, but it's less than it would be if we were to stay at that lodge. And so I think in about 5 or 6 months the new lodge will be rebuilt, which should be great, and you'll be able to stay there.
We now going to Tmatboey, which is the community protected area, and we going to search for white-shouldered ibis at the nesting trees or casual birding around the spotting area. So it takes around like 30 to 40 minutes from here get to the community lodge.
So we made our way to the white-shouldered ibis nest that the local community knows about, and we're quite a ways from the nest, so we weren't getting incredible photos or anything, and our guide Hat happened to see a white-shouldered ibis flying directly at us. It basically went right over our head, about the best look you could possibly ever want of that bird. And so this is one of the main targets for this area. It's critically endangered. There's only about 1,000 left in the entire world, and Cambodia has roughly 80% of the population in the northern part of Cambodia. So really, really lucky that we got such a close look at that bird. We're gonna hang around until it starts to get darker and see what else flies around.
Going to watch the giant ibis. So now we go back to the community lodge, somewhere close to the nesting trees and a roosting tree as well. So at dawn, when the first light comes, and then we might be see an adult sitting in that trees, which is close by the nesting tree as well, around 100 meters. And then hopefully, so this adult roosting near the nesting tree, they don't stay until the sunrise, just the first light or very early morning.
Yeah.
They make a call, sometimes a few call, and then they're leaving the roosting tree, and then they get to the big tree where another adult nesting, and then they maybe switch early morning for collecting food, and around 7 or 8 o'clock another one return and then switch again.
We are starting out day 3 of our Cambodia trip in the best way possible, with our main target of the entire trip, and that is the giant ibis. So we got up early this morning and we went to the nest site and saw birds sitting on the nest, and with a little bit of work and maneuvering around, we were able to get some really nice looks at the bird on the nest, including a baby in the nest and also another adult out kind of near the nest watching the nest. So we're able to get really, really nice looks at that bird. The reason that was our main target for the trip is its population estimate is only around 300 total birds in the entire world, and Cambodia has about 99% of the population in its country, and so there are very, very few spots that you can see this bird critically endangered, and so it was really nice to see that baby in the nest. Great slaty woodpeckers flying over. Another bonus bird. But we're really happy with being able to see the giant ibis. Our local guide has been incredible. Yesterday we got the white-shouldered ibis, so two of our main targets in the Tmatboey area, and we're going to continue birding around the area for the rest of the day and looking for some woodpeckers, looking for some falcons, and whatever else we can find.
I think our guy already in the field now, just searching for the spotted wood owl again before we leaving these communities.
Day 4 in Cambodia and our last day at Tmatboey before we head over to the Vulture restaurant. This morning we're really just looking at better looks at some of the birds that we haven't seen as well, and we just had really good look at spotted wood owl that was found roosting during the day by one of the local guides, of course. And so we'll just bird here for the next few hours and then head over to the Vulture restaurant where we're looking for 3 critically endangered species of vultures. Just got a call from the vulture hide, and so hopefully that means the vultures are on the ground feeding on the carcass that was put out there. So we're trying to make our way there as fast as we can so we can see these vultures up close and personal. So you might be wondering, what is a vulture restaurant and why are they important? So these 3 species that we saw today, red-headed vulture, white-rumped vulture, and slender-billed vulture, are all listed as critically endangered, and their populations have declined recently by over 90% across their range. And one of the main reasons for that is because the ranchers are using an antibiotic on their cattle that is extremely lethal to the vultures. And so when that cow dies, vultures will feed on that cow that's been treated with those antibiotics, and they will die. And so one treated cow can end up killing an entire flock of these vultures, and this has been happening for 10 or 20 years now, and so these vultures have really disappeared across the range. So these vulture restaurants provide a safe place for vultures to feed and also provide ecotourism for people like me who want to see these vultures. But what they do is they provide these vultures with carcasses of cows and cattle that are known to have not been treated with that antibiotic so that they can feed without dying. And hopefully these vulture restaurants will start to result in these populations increasing instead of decreasing.
So now we are traveling to Changkran Roy, which is the good place for searching for barbelly peter this afternoon. We're going to the heights where we can sit until the dark after we arrive. And tomorrow morning we gonna get up early at 5 o'clock and then travel from the community lodge to another high where we're gonna wait for Korabi ground cuckoo until lunchtime.
Slender-billed ground cuckoo at one of the hides at Changkran Roy. Probably one of the hardest birds to get in Cambodia, and doesn't come to the hide every day. We had an amazing time with that bird. Hopefully we'll find bar-bellied pitta this afternoon. So this is the place that we are staying at Changkran Roy. It's got a few amenities, pretty basic though. It does have running water for showers. Stairs are pretty steep. This is the entrance. Not a whole lot of room inside, so we kept a lot of our luggage outside. You got this Hello Kitty Gucci type door. I think that's Hello Kitty. I don't know. Inside, kind of safari style tents with the mosquito netting, just in case the mosquitoes are out. Beds are big, comfortable. There is electricity for charging. Since we have a little downtime here before we head to the bird blind at Changkran Roy, I wanted to talk a little bit about the company that we're taking this tour with. It's called Sam Veasna Conservation Tours. And the first thing I want to say is that our guide from this tour company, Hat, has been probably one of the best guides that I've ever had on an international birding trip. He knows the birds well, and he has gone above and beyond all of our requests for this trip. He's frequently out owling, even after we've called it quits, trying to find us owls, even if we haven't seen them yet. He was out late last night looking for owls after we were already gone to bed. And so for everything that he has done on this tour, he has been absolutely incredible. Highly recommend if you can take a trip with Sam Veasna Conservation Tours to try to get Hat as your guide. He is awesome. The other thing I wanted to mention is why you should take a trip with Sam Veasna Conservation Tours. And one of the main reasons why I chose this tour company is because a lot of the cost for the tour goes to the local communities to continue saving these endangered species that we get to see on this tour. And so SVC works a lot with the local communities. They hire local people from the communities to cook our food. They get paid to do that. They hire local bird guides to help show us where birds are. They have bird guides that are out looking for day roosting owls for us and tracking down things like White-rumped Vulture all day long. And so these people make money being able to show us these birds, and so that encourages them to continue looking for and saving these bird species. And so that's one of the things I was really drawn to for this tour company, was that they really push the conservation for birds in Cambodia further and further every single year. And so some of these lodges that we're staying are getting improvements because of some of the funding that they've received. And so I think that's just really cool. It's one of the main reasons why giant Ibis still exists and why it continues. Populations might even be rebounding a little bit, is because when we visited that site, one of the things I thought was really cool is that the locals are encouraged to go look for giant ibis and white-shouldered ibis nests, because if they find those nests, then it makes it really, really easy for birders like myself to come here and see those birds and not miss them. So if you are interested in going to Cambodia, I highly recommend you check out Sam Veasna Conservation Tours. I'll leave a link in the description below to their website so you can contact them and set up your next birding trip to Cambodia. This was our third trip to this blind to look for the bar-bellied pitta, and we probably spent close to 10 hours sitting in this blind over 3 days waiting for this bird to show up. We heard it 2 days in a row close to the blind, but it just never showed itself. And unfortunately our time in Cambodia is running out. So we have to start making our way back to the airport for our flight home tonight. All in all, this trip couldn't have gone any better. I would say my first trip to Asia has been an incredible success. Can't wait to make my way back here to this part of the world sometime in the future. Everything from the people, the food, the guide, SVC tour company we went with, everything has been just better than expected. The birds are incredible. It's been a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.